am surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
'Cause that's the bottom line! 'Cause Stone Cold said so!
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 104 for the Wrestling Matters Podcast. That's right, it is yours truly, the one, the only, the Anthony Walker here at your service. That's right, that H, that E, to the A, to that D, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing? Hope you are well, whatever it is you're doing. On today's show, as always, we're going to talk Raw, Smackdown, NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, ICW. It's a big ICW this week as well because it was the debut or the recording and the episode where Mr. Anderson made his debut, so it was very interesting. So more on that later. Also, I'm going to talk about a few things as well that's coming up on the Wrestling Matters channel as well, and while I'm here I might as well get the promotions out the way. Check out Sunday Segway, check out Max Wrestling, check out Offshoot Radio, Evan McCabe, and I think I've said everything else on that one as well, so be sure to check all them out as well on the Swerve Talk Network. Check out the Swerve Talk Network as well. Swerve Talk, I believe it's swervetalk.wix.com/network. I will put all the links in the description below on YouTube and SoundCloud and whatever as well. Be sure to check out as well Mystery Island. Always check out the Mystery Island Facebook and Twitter's profiles, mainly the Facebook profile as well, so you can keep up to date of who is coming to the Mystery Island Birkenhead place in Liverpool as well. Last week they had Chris Masters. Who knows who's coming next? Anyone could be coming next as well, and I'll keep you up to date in future podcasts on who is coming to the Mystery Island as well. And yeah, that about wraps that up as well. Also, be sure to check out Sunday's soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast, the AnthonyWalker.wix.com/AW matters, and the AnthonyWalker.net as well for the websites and all information and all that good stuff as well. Now, I've had a bit of a busy week this week, guys. I've got a top 10 for you. I'll get to that in a second. I've had a little bit of a busy week. My upcoming, and I've mentioned this a few times on the YouTube channel as well, the Wrestling Matters YouTube channel. I've got something in store for you guys that I'm in the pipelines of doing. WrestleMania night, I will have a review, as I always do after every pay-per-view, because I'll be watching the pay-per-view no matter what, and I'll have a review after it when it comes on. It's already been set up and everything, and I will do that the minute the WrestleMania pay-per-view is over. But I've also went out this week as well, guys, because normally when you've seen me, if you check out the Wrestling Matters channel or subscribe to the Wrestling Matters channel, you've also seen my Raw reviews, and they've been used by my laptop webcam, which is a fucking atrocious. Although it has been good to me for what I've had in terms of quality and presentation. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's flat out sucked as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, next week's podcast as well. I'll mention it later. I want to bring something up there. I'll mention it later. Also, next week, but like I say, going back to what I was saying, in terms of quality, laptops, they suck, to put it mildly. They are the worst pieces of shit ever, But they can do good things for you in terms of what you're looking for, in terms of your webcam as well, when you're on Skype and shit like that. But, it in terms of, like I said, quality and presentation of, what you're looking for, they stink the joint now. They really do. And that's why this week, ladies and gents, so next time you see my Raw reviews, which will be on the Wrestling Matters YouTube channel this coming Tuesday, which is tomorrow as this is going out, on a Monday, you will check out and you will know, either tomorrow, it'll be out tomorrow, you will know that there'll be a change to my reviews. The audios that I usually play on here, there'll be a change because I no longer will be using my laptop webcam, because this week I went out and got a C920 webcam. That's right. And I've tested it out this week. I've done some tests over it this week, and it's a thing of beauty. It really is. And it's the presentation of it is phenomenal. 10 times better to what a presentation in terms of a in terms of a laptop webcam can do. Presentation wise, holy shit. You know, it really is. And I've done a few tests with it this week as well. And guys, if you haven't got one, I'd recommend you go and get one. If you're looking for a decent, top-notch webcam, I got mine for £40. What that is in American money, I do not know. But I've got mine for £40. It is, not £40, £50, sorry. It's normally £60. Like I said, I don't know what the hell that is in American money, but you might have to look that up. But it is a thing of beauty. It really is. And it is top-notch, top quality. And yeah, if you're doing like webcam stuff, or even if you're going on Skype to talk to your buddies and you want to do like a video cam or some shit, you know, when you video talk to them on Skype and shit like that, and you want good quality capturing, that's the best thing for it. It really is. In terms of like I said, in terms of quality and presentation, it's a thing of beauty. It really is. But anyway, enough of the promotion. So like I said, guys, if you're doing something webcam wise on your laptop or your PC or whatever it is you've got, and you need a good webcam, C920 webcam. Go and get it. Right, I've got a top 10 for you guys, courtesy of WWE.com. I want to give my expertise and my 2 cents on this. The top 10 is 10 WrestleMania matches that stole the show, and it kicks off with number 10, which was the career-threatening match between Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. Did it steal the show? Yeah, it did. But the biggest thing about this is, and I'll put the link to this in the description below, the goofballs at WWE.com did not use a picture. They used the same picture of The Undertaker press slamming Shawn Michaels twice because they used it for the number 10. And it's clear as day it wasn't number 10, it was Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. So the goofballs have made a mistake in that respect. I'll get to the other bit later on about that. But yeah, it was an emotional match. And it's definitely stole the show in terms of it was Ric Flair's supposed last match, and it was always remembered for the "I'm sorry, I love you" super kick, which ended Ric Flair's career, at least until he went to TNA. Did it steal the show? Hell yeah, it stole the show. And like I said, looking back on it, it probably, them kind of matches should have won on last, but you know, it is what it is. Number 9 was Mick Foley's and Edge's hardcore match at WrestleMania 22. Jesus Christ, this was as brutal as it could ever be. And I was watching this the other day, and I might watch it again when I'm done, you know, with this podcast, recording this part at least. I mean, good God Almighty, what a match! And it culminated with Edge winning the match by spearing Mick Foley through. While Foley was stood on the apron, he speared him from inside the ring, speared him to the outside, and drove Foley through a flaming table and got the 1, 2, 3. Despite the fact he was full of he was a human pincushion. Just a brutal match, and you know, if Foley wanted his WrestleMania moment, he didn't have to get it with that match, let me tell you. Number 8 was the career-ending match involving Macho Man Randy Savage, Macho King, and the Ultimate Warrior. And this was a great match, and very good match for both men, including the Warrior. But the match was not known for the actual match itself, which Savage lost. It was known for what happened after the match. Sherry turned on Savage, and Elizabeth came out to save Savage, and they reunited, all leading to the wedding at SummerSlam 91. And I eventually saw this WrestleMania, but I didn't, like I say, it wasn't my first WrestleMania. My first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 8. WrestleMania 14 match was at number 7, and it was the New Age Outlaws defending the Tag Team Championships against Cactus Jack and Mick Foley, Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, Terry Funk, in a dumpster match, which Terry Funk, Chainsaw Charlie, and Cactus Jack ended up winning. Straight loco. That's all I've got to say. And they ended up losing the tag belts. I think they were stripped of them going into Monday Night Raw, and they were vacated, but the Outlaws eventually got them back, and they managed to get the victory. It was just a great match. That was just phenomenal. Speaking of great matches, number 6 was Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle, which definitely stole the show of WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles. And you could tell it stole the show with the reaction after the match when everybody applauded, including the announce team, for Shawn Michaels after the match, man. I mean, Kurt Angle eventually ended up winning it, but holy shit, it was a great match. In my opinion, taking nothing away from Shawn Michaels and Undertaker match at WrestleMania 25, I think it was one of Shawn's best matches, if not the best match he had at WrestleMania. If we're talking about from a Shawn Michaels perspective, it was definitely up there. If it wasn't, it was definitely up there, top 5, no doubt. But he did have some great matches. That's why he was called Mr. WrestleMania. The next one after that, which was at number 5, was World Tag Team Title TLC, and I believe it's talking about the WrestleMania 17 one, which involved Edge, Christian, Hardys, and the Dudleys. just stole the show, basically. No if and buts about it, with the spear off the top rope, the spear off the ladder, driving Jeff Hardy down, just almost killing Jeff Hardy, which, come to think of it, should have been Devon Dudley, from what I heard, but Devon Dudley was afraid of heights, so Jeff Hardy done it instead. And even Rhino and Spike Dudley and even Lita made a cameo appearance as well. And in my opinion, it was 10 times better than what the first TLC was. I believe the first TLC was at SummerSlam. That was 10 times better. And it involved the same three, I believe. And it was just 10 times better. Number 4 was the ladder match. The very first ladder match, which was at WrestleMania 10, involving Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. And to be honest with you, this match was indescribable because, well, all you got to do is just go back and watch the match, and you understand why they had ladder matches after the match. Because it was basically, and I believe somebody said this as well, Shawn Michaels wrestling with a ladder. That's what it was. Wrestling a ladder. The amount of stuff he did to Razor in that match. But like I say, Razor ended up coming out the undisputed Intercontinental Champion, and that match itself was unbelievable, and it set the tone for future ladder matches, and it's probably the reason why we've had so many ladder matches to this very day. Number 3 was the submission match involving Austin and Bret Hart. These two couldn't stand one another, and it culminated with this WrestleMania match, and they literally beat the hell out of each other. And it was also a historic match in terms of what happened after it. Austin becoming a babyface, Bret Hart becoming a heel, which has never been done and never happened before in pro wrestling. I don't think it's ever happened before in WWE as well, so which was a big thing for the company at the time, and it led to an interesting direction for Bret Hart as well, because he ended up getting cheered in Canada but booed in America, which was a very interesting way. He was a hero in Canada, a villain in America as well, it was very interesting, it really was. And speaking of Shawn Michaels, going back to that, and like I said, they used the same thing twice, the same picture twice, but number 2 was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. Many people believe that WrestleMania 25 was horrible, and this match saved the show. It stole the show, but I don't think WrestleMania 25 was that bad, to be honest. It wasn't the best WrestleMania, but, it wasn't as bad as people, or I've been told, people make out to be. And no doubt this definitely stole the show. And like I say, I could sit and describe what happened in the match, but you might as well go on the WWE Network or go and find it and just watch it for yourself, man, because it was just unbelievable. Now we get to number 1, which was from WrestleMania 3 and the Intercontinental Championship match involving Steamboat and Savage. Now, the interesting story about this was as we all know, WrestleMania 3 was built around Hogan and Andre, but people weren't talking about that match. People were talking about Steamboat and Savage after the match, and which also leads to an interesting thing that Al Snow once said in an interview. What was the best match on the card at WrestleMania 3? Hogan and Andre. Shows what Al Snow is. He's absolutely a complete tool. Now, don't get me wrong, I agree with him, because Hogan and Andre drew WrestleMania 3. They were the centerpiece of WrestleMania 3, and it was like Vince took that match, stuck it in the middle, and to say, we'll build this, and this round here. For Al Snow to say that Hogan and Andre was the best match on the card, but back then, I don't know if he redirects that comment or that analysis, but no. Anyone with a brain could see that this match, Ricky Steamboat Savage for the Intercontinental Championship, was the match of the night and the best match on that card. Full stop. You do not get any better than this match on that card. If you don't believe me, go and watch it. Go and watch the whole show. Go and watch Hogan and Andre and watch Savage and Steamboat. Watch them both and compare the two. Do you agree with Al Snow? If you have a brain, you probably won't. Let me tell you. And apologies for my creaky chair, guys, if you can hear it in the background. But, I do have a creaky chair and I can't do nothing about that at the moment. So, with that being said, that's pretty much the end of that top 10 countdown. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And you know what? I'm going to end this part there, guys, and I'll be back right after this with the Raw audio, with the Raw review from last week, and then I'll be back in part 3 with Smackdown and NXT. And I may throw TNA in as well, but I'm definitely back with Smackdown, NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, and ICW, and plus a few other things as well. So stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker. Welcome to this live stream. That's right, this quick little live stream that I'm going to do. Just need to do a few things first before I start. It's a Raw live stream, as you can probably gather, ladies and gentlemen, from the title. A very unique Monday Night Raw, if I may say so myself. Yeah, a few bits here and there and everything, but as we all know now, we are literally now 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. So from now until WrestleMania, at least, this Raw and probably next Raw, it's going to be all build up to Mania, because that's what we're building up to, WrestleMania, which takes place April 3rd. Hope you guys are well. Be sure to check out the Swerve Talk Network, Sunday Segway, Offshoot Radio, Evan McCabe, and Max Wrestling itself as well. All of them are on the Swerve Talk Network. Also, check out the Wrestling Matters podcast as well. It's on there as well. swervetalk.wix.com/network. Be sure to check that out. A little quick promotion there. Right, it's Monday Night Raw time, ladies and gentlemen, and this may very well be this was in a way somewhat of a historic Raw, and I'll get to the point of the historic part in a bit. Right. Raw kicked off with Stephanie McMahon confronting, or Roman Reigns confronting Stephanie. Now, it was just the same mind games that the Authority has been playing and everything, and Roman Reigns vows to get the World Heavyweight Champion, vows to go to WrestleMania and beat Triple H and become the World Heavyweight Champion, and there ain't going to be a damn thing that Stephanie's going to do about it. We all know it's going to happen. We all know what's going to go down. So, but it's amazing. I mean, all of that led to later on, because Stephanie booked Kevin Owens in a seven ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. So the dream of Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens ain't going to happen. And she also, granted a lot of things during the night, but the main point that fed off from this part anyway was when Stephanie was about to leave the arena, Triple H picked her up in the car. And then everybody got in the car, about to go. The garage gate lifts open, and Roman Reigns just stood there. And Roman Reigns just walks up to the car, opens the door, and just grabs Triple H and starts beating him up. But then Triple H manages to get away. It ain't going to happen at Mania. Okay? It ain't going to happen at Mania. Triple H will have to face the music and lose. That's my prediction right now, because we all know it's going to happen. And on April 4th on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns will be the World Heavyweight Champion, whether we like it or not. Right. Let's talk about before I get to the other bits of Raw, I want to talk about the Undertaker match. Now, I saw something on the internet today about, there was all this talk when this match first started about, would Shane McMahon hire somebody to be, to take his place and fight the Undertaker at WrestleMania. I just come to the realization today as I was getting prepared for this. Do you ever think John Cena might be the possibility? If this does go ahead, do you ever think it could be John Cena? Will we get to see the scheduled match that everybody wanted to see, that everybody was hoping for before Cena got injured? John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. You never know. I mean, I kind of hope not, because I believe Shane McMahon can give, and from what I've seen on Raw with all the training that he's been doing, the MMA stuff and that, Shane wants this. It seems Shane really wants this. And now that Vince McMahon has come up on behalf of The Undertaker and basically said that if he doesn't win the match, The Undertaker, that is, it'll be his last WrestleMania. Could we see the end of The Undertaker? Could this be his retirement mania? The king of WrestleMania could be this could very well be his last. I'm pulling for Shane McMahon in this one. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Undertaker, but I want that authority bullshit to end. So if it has to be the sacrifice of the Undertaker, then so be it. But I don't want to see the Undertaker leave, especially like this. You know, they were going to make this his last WrestleMania anyway. But like I said, nobody wants to see Undertaker versus Braun Strowman. So what will happen is what will happen, people. Also, this whole thing with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. Kevin Owens has AJ Styles had another match like they did on SmackDown, and it was a carbon copy of SmackDown. Jericho gets involved. Owens gets the victory. AJ tried to do exactly the same earlier later on when Jericho had a WrestleMania Rewind match against Fandango. AJ tried to do the same thing, but it didn't work. And then AJ challenges Jericho to a match again at WrestleMania. Except this time, video afterwards on WWE.com says Jericho will not accept. But you know he's going to eventually. If not this week, it'll be sometime next week he'll end up accepting. Because Styles will push his buttons. He'll do it. He's done it once. But other than that, I mean, it was just another good match, but it was a carbon copy of what happened on SmackDown, basically. And then Jericho ended up beating Fandango later on in the evening. Big Show declared himself for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and got interrupted by the social out twits, as they're now called, or four jobbers as people call them. I don't know why they call them that. They've actually done all right in a way. And that's the social outcasts. And Big Show looked to destroy them, but it didn't happen because they managed to get on him until Kane came out and cleared the ring and then basically chokeslammed Big Show off the top rope while he was cheering to the crowd. Kane grabs out of him and chokeslammed him, and Kane's in the Battle Royal too. So don't take nothing lightly there, Mr. Big Show. Another match built in for WrestleMania sees the New Day take on the League of Nations, and it was Big E against Rusev, which Big E won thanks to a little help from Kofi Kingston. I'm guessing this is a six-man tag. Can't be a handicap match, surely. But I'm guessing this is a six-man tag. It's a new day for the New Day because they seem to be getting cheered by these. I mean, all right, the villains are the League of Nations, and it also seems to have a new Titantron too. But Big E managed to get the victory over Rusev. Will they change this match to the tag team titles? Probably not, but it looks like the tag team titles will not be defended at WrestleMania. I don't know how you can call them titles gold, to be honest with you. They're bronze titles, which is just ridiculous anyway. But a big win for Big E, a little bit of momentum going into WrestleMania. Zack Ryder and Sin Cara and Stardust were ended in a no contest, but then, like I said, Stephanie, it was all Kevin Owens' master plan, but then Stephanie managed to make a ladder match involving Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, Stardust, Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship, and that will take place at WrestleMania. So the dream of everybody's dream match, everybody wanting to see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, has been shattered, quite frankly, which is a shame. A very big shame indeed. Divas champion Charlotte versus Natalya and beats Natalya because what happened on SmackDown and everything. Again, just more build-up. The two adversaries were at ringside on commentary, but we all knew Charlotte was going to win this match anyway. Who else? Oh, yeah. Built into the grudge match, Bubba Ray defeats R-Truth in the whatever match, you know. But then the Usos came out and looked to get a piece of the Dudleys and everything. But like I said, it's all built up for this tag team grudge match, which I'm guessing by any sense should be probably on the pre-show, but you never know with WWE. And Braun Strowman defeats Dean Ambrose by disqualification because Dean Ambrose lost the plot and sent a message to Brock Lesnar at the expense of Paul Heyman, who was at ringside, and basically beat the living tar out of Braun Strowman and even hit him with dirty deeds on the chair. So what will happen on SmackDown? Because if you remember what happened on SmackDown, what was going down on SmackDown, What a Caller came out with, what's his name? What a Caller came out and challenged him to a fight on SmackDown. Dean Ambrose came out and challenged Brock Lesnar to a fight on SmackDown. Will it happen? You know, we'll have to wait and see on SmackDown. But SmackDown should be interesting this week, no doubt. All in all, if I'm scoring it out of 10, I would give it a 6 and a 3 out of 5 as well, because it was an average Raw. It was all right. It wasn't the worst Raw. It wasn't a poor Raw, but it was okay. You know, favorite bit of the night was was seeing Roman Reigns, this vicious side of Roman Reigns, basically pulling Triple H out of the car, just literally beat the tar out of him before Triple H managed to get away. I don't know what they're going to do out with that one, what they're going to get out of that one in terms of Roman Reigns, because he gets booed out the building. And people want to see Triple H win that match at WrestleMania. So I don't know what the heck's going to happen in terms of that, but it should be interesting, no doubt. Like I say, all in all, and also a very surprising moment, ladies and gentlemen, that happened on Raw this week as well. One of my favorite moments. Dean Ambrose was in a bar. Showed you like a segment where Dean Ambrose was in a bar, you know, getting warmed up for the WrestleMania match and everything. And he had a confrontation with Mick Foley. I believe it was last week, on last week's show. He ends up having a confrontation or talk, this time, a little pep talk, from one Terry Funk. Which was... So he's had two hardcore legends peppering him up for the upcoming match with him and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Terry Funk, Jesus Christ. But... and Terry Funk brought this chainsaw out. I mean, Mick Foley basically passed him over Barbie, the baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. Terry Funk brought this chainsaw out and laid it on the table and passed it on to him. Now, I don't think WWE, considering the PG era, I don't think WWE would allow that. But when I saw that come out, and I was like, okay, don't be giving anything like that to Dean Ambrose. Jesus. But it was good to see Terry Funk on there, man. Oh, and congratulations to Stan Hansen, too. The original founder of the Clothesline from Hell is now a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. So many congrats to him on that. And even JBL was pleased. JBL was definitely pleased on that one as well. So all in all, a very average Raw. And that's about wraps this video up, guys. Sorry, I'm just doing some little work here. That about wraps it up, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, smash the like button. Subscribe to the Wrestling Matters channel for weekly podcasts and more reviewing or more wrestling content. I'm thinking about doing a WrestleMania live stream because I'm going to be up watching WrestleMania. I saw WhatCulture.com do this with Roadblock, even though it was probably a waste of time on their part, but they did it, and you know, I enjoyed it as well because I was watching it with them. I was watching Roadblock with them as well, so I thought I might give it a bash with WrestleMania because WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, and who knows, man? I mean, you're gonna get something out of this. And is what will happen, people. So I'm looking to do that, but I don't know whether. Excuse me. I don't know whether or not to use the laptop webcam as I'm using right now. I'll get a different webcam. I'm leaning towards getting a better webcam because let's face it, guys, these webcams, these laptop webcams are good, but they're not the best in terms of quality. And I've seen this, and I've got my eye on a webcam that basically makes laptop webcams look like something out of Toys R Us or a second-hand shop, indeed. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't made up my mind, but I will let you guys know in due time. So look out for that. look out for the new episode of the podcast. Link is in the description below. Check out my website as well. Again, links will be in the description below. SoundCloud.com/wrestling_madness_podcast. Hopefully a link will be in the description below. Download the new episode of the Wrestling Madness podcast for free. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Check out my games channel as well. All the links will be on the Wrestling Madness channel as well. So be sure to check all of that. See ya. Have a nice day. Whatever it is you're doing, enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter @WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you enjoyed the raw audio there. Hope you enjoyed that. And now it's time for the Smackdown and NXT, and I'll just run through these as normal and pick out main points to talk about. Now, quick hits were Sasha Banks defeats Charlotte, gets a little bit of momentum going into WrestleMania. Speaking of momentum going into WrestleMania, Sheamus beats Kofi Kingston. Usos job out to the Ascension. Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn beat Kevin Owens and The Miz. Bobby Ray Dudley, apologies if you heard that. Bobby Ray Dudley and Sami Zayn defeat Kevin Owens Bobby Ray Dudley defeats Roman Reigns by disqualification. Tyler Breeze jobs out to AJ Styles, and Brock Lesnar just destroys people, meaning Dean Ambrose and the Wyatt. Now, let's get to Roman Reigns' situation. Since returning from his nose shattered by the WWE Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns has been a different man, embracing a new level of animalistic viciousness on the road to WrestleMania. With that in mind, Reigns came to SmackDown ring to battle Bobby Ray Dudley. It was not a match that lasted long, however, as the domination big dog was quickly disqualified for bouncing his opponent face off the announce table repeatedly and unleashing a brutal onslaught on the Extreme Superstar. When Devon opted to charge into the carnage, Reigns hit him with a Superman punch before laying him out with an unforgiving steel steps. He then delivered a fierce spear to Bubba, once again asserting his own version of ruthless authority, and will hopefully did exactly the same thing to Triple H at WrestleMania. Now for the main event. Hurdling by his always outspoken advocate, Brock Lesnar returned to SmackDown, poised to go head-to-head with Dean Ambrose, since Dean Ambrose called him out the previous week in a no-holds-barred match. And he's also prepared to go one-on-one with him in a no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania. But when Heyman called out the Lunatic Fringe to battle the Beast right then, the Wyatt family instead made a surprise appearance to reopen its own conflict with the Conqueror. As they surrounded the ring, though, Ambrose emerged with a kendo stick in hand as he disposed every member of the Wyatt family, as well as Brock Lesnar suplexing members of the Wyatt family, Eric Rowan in particular. Ambrose charged into the ring and engaged with a beating on Lesnar with his weapon of choice, but the dominant Beast brushed his adversary's assault aside and hit him with a devastating F5 on the road to WrestleMania. So Brock Lesnar takes over SmackDown. Question is, will he do what he did on SmackDown to Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania? Or did he do that? One of you guys will know that next week. I can't wait for WrestleMania. That's all I'm going to say. And I definitely cannot wait for that match. That match is going to be sick. That match has got all the poses and all the potential. And quite frankly, it will steal the show at WrestleMania. I believe that. I firmly believe that. Now for the NXT results. And like I said, I'll just go through these quickly. I won't waste it. All build up to Dallas. Johnny Gargano defeats Elias Sampson, and I believe this saw the emerging of Apollo Crews, beat down and everything, and apparently it's now Sampson and Crews at TakeOver, which is hands down a Crews win. Finn Balor defeats Rich Swann in an untitled match. Again, all warm up to the one and only match with him and Samoa Joe at TakeOver. Alexia Bliss beats Sarah Dobson, and Samoa Joe attacks Bull Dempsey and Danny Burch, aka Martin Stone, to again send a message to the one and only Finn Balor for that Joe's on the Rampage and he wants that NXT title. Asuka beats Emma, and that was it for the NXT. So all good things and that, it's all build up, ladies and gentlemen. All the NXT now is just build up to TakeOver, which takes place Friday night, April 1st in Dallas. So I cannot wait for that. That's all I've got to say about that. That's really going to be good. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave it there, and I'll take a quick little time out, and I'll be back with TNA, ICW, Ring of Honor, and a few other things as well, and a few other things that caught my eye as well that I forgot to mention, but I'll mention it at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. All of that will be coming up right after this.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast, and now it's time for TNA, and you know what, we'll throw Ring of Honor in there as well. So, let's start with Ring of Honor, get it out of the way. Ishii beats Cedric Alexander to retain the TV title, and BJ Whitmer had to take some money from Cedric Alexander via Scott, you know, so Cedric could take the match and everything, but Cedric gets a little bit of karma in there and gets beat by Ishii, who beat Roderick Strong I think it was a while back, and retained the title at the 14th anniversary show, I believe it was. Yeah, it was a good match, and this Ishii, guys, he looks like a really, really big deal, and he could be elevating that championship to another level, quite frankly, and he's even mentioned it to Kevin Kelly after the match, and nobody could beat him, so that should be good as well. Renault Scum lose to the Briscoes. They put up a good fight, but, you know, the Briscoes are the Briscoes. They are the backbone of Ring of Honor. They are the backbone of Ring of Honor wrestling, and especially the tag team in Ring of Honor. The Addiction came out before that, and were not happy with Chris Saban's betrayal, because apparently, well, from what I saw at the 14th anniversary show, the Motor City Machine Guns got back together, and the Machine Guns come out, and Chris insults the Addiction, and the Guns want to fight, but the Addiction hightail it and have other plans. And it's been made for 2 weeks on Ring of Honor television. The Guns take on the Addiction in a tag team match, so that should be good as well. And Elgin and Tanahashi beat the Young Bucks in a match which was freaking phenomenal, and the Young Bucks came close on a number of occasions to beating Elgin and Tanahashi, but Elgin and Tanahashi, the power and the speed proved to be too much for the Young Bucks, and Elgin and Tanahashi get the victory. But it was all good Ring of Honor show, and like I said many times, and like I said on the interview I did this past week, or I recorded this past week with Michael Larkin, which will start next week. Yeah, it was pretty good show. So all in all, good Ring of Honor show nonetheless. Now for TNA, and I'll run through what happened. In-ring segment announcing the gauntlet for the number one contenders match, which was in the main event, which I'll get to in a second. Tag team titles were retained by the Beer Money Incorporated against the returning Bromains. That's right, the Bromains are back together. So that means Jesse Goodaz is sick and tired of Eli Drake, so he's moved on. Eddie Edwards beats Crazy Steve in an ODQ match, because Davey Richards is out on the shelf at the moment. In-ring segment with Maria announcing that she gave up her shot at the Knockouts title and left to one of the Dollhouse for them to face in a triple threat match, which Jade defeats Marty Bell and Rebel Sky, Matt Hardy's wife, to become the number one contenders for the Knockouts title. And the main event saw Rebby's husband, Matt Hardy, miss out in the number one contendership, and it's Drew Galloway versus Jeff Hardy next week on Impact. So that should be good for the World Heavyweight title. So again, should be good, man. Should be really, really good. And you know what? I'll throw in a couple of things that I mentioned last week as well. Apparently, I've just read here, Ronaldo is apparently going to be involved in WrestleMania. So that should be excellent. That should be really, really good. Apparently, he's going to be involved in WrestleMania, which is good because he's an incredible announcer. The new GR, in my opinion, even though he's done like fights and stuff like that before. Man, he's really, really good. And last week, I said that Sting, or reports that Sting was retiring. But it seems that Sting is not retiring, because TMZ reported last week that Sting is done with wrestling and he has announced his retirement. You know, he's been the neck injury, the same neck injury, or the same kind of neck injury that Edge had and all that. But Sting has come out this week and denied it and said that he's not going to be wrestling. His neck's fine. He's not retiring, and never say never. So we'll have to wait and see, kind of thing. So what's next for Sting? We'll have to wait and see. And that about wraps up this part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. I'll be back right after this with ICW and a few promotions here and there, and what to look forward to on the podcast. So stay tuned.
There's only one wrestling podcast that gives you honest, uncut opinions and the most unique trivia since WWE did The Weakest Link. And the only place you can hear the show-stealing podcast promo every single week.
Covering WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground. Matt's Wrestling Podcast is the place for you. Join myself, Evan Money McCabe, the Phoenix, and the Butcher. Sundays at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern time with your host, Dudley Dangerously, on VOC Nation and the Swerve Talk Network.
Go to maxwrestling.wix.com/maxwrestling or follow us at maxwrestling UK for more details.
Give in to the madness.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast, and now it's time for ICW. Let's get ICW out the way, ladies and gents. It kicked off with a match that was forced to kick off, and that was BT Gunn and Stevie Boy. As we all know, the NAK is, at the moment, well, there's two members of the NAK now. They both represent ICW, and this match was really, really good, up until the point Kaylee Ray had to get involved and cost BT the victory. So all this leads into Barromania, and by the way, this week on the Wrestling Matters channel, I will be doing a Barromania predictions, so look out for that as well. It's coming this week on the Wrestling Matters channel, so check that out. Yeah, it was like I say, it was a good, hard-hitting, fast-paced match, but then Kelly Ray has to ruin it and cost BT the victory. Tag match: Davey Boy and Grado against the Black Label, which is Jester and Red Lightning. Again, another match that was okay for a tag team match, but Flex Hunter got involved and cost Grado and Davey Boy the victory. And then Joe Coffey came out and got into a verbal spat with Red Lightning, because he spent most of last year campaigning for a match with Red Lightning. And like I say, all of this, guys, leads into Barromania, because at Barromania, Davey Boy will defend his Zero-G title in a 6-way match. Grado goes one-on-one with Red Lightning, and like I say, it's the NAK, BT and Chris Renfrew against Wolfgang and Stevie Boy, and apparently they have him down as the Black Label, so it's ICW Black Label at Barromania. But all in all, it was what it was, the first two matches at Barromania build-up. Now we get on to another Barromania build-up, Noam Dar, who's also in that 6-way match for the Zero-G title, and he goes one-on-one with, can I say that I'm familiar with this guy? I'm very familiar with his work, definitely, because I've watched him for a while, and that's Mr. Doug Williams, who was a member of the 55. This was a great match. This is one thing I've never denied. I'm not the biggest Doug Williams fan. I'm a fan of his wrestling ability, but unfortunately I've had the chance to meet this guy in person, and let's just say the show I went to, he acted like he didn't want to be there for me. And like I said, not disrespecting his wrestling ability, because I will never take that away from him. He is one of the finest wrestlers to come out of Britain. His personality and attitude, it was more exciting. I mean, a brick wall was more exciting than that. I had a few come across with him at an EPW show once, which took place at the Rainbow Leisure Centre. He came down and he acted. And he got, the vibe gave me that he didn't want to be there. I didn't like the fact that he was charging his fans £5 for an autograph, which pisses me the fuck off. Why do wrestlers do that? I mean, I could understand, you want to give your merchandise, you want to sell merchandise, and most wrestlers do have merchandise they want to sell, and I can understand that. You want to make money off that, and that's fine, but why the hell would you want to charge your fans? The people that pay money to see you perform, that have that opportunity to come to the show and see you perform and witness you wrestle for the first time, maybe the second time, whatever, and they ask for an autograph after the match because they admire you and they're fans of you and they're fans of your work and they respect you, and you have the audacity to charge them £5 for an autograph. Makes no fucking sense. I can tell you this right now, any of my fans listening to this, if any of you guys meet me, face to face, in the street somewhere, and you come over and ask me for an autograph, trust me, you will not get charged for it, okay? Don't get me wrong, I like to make money. I'm all about money, but when it comes to somebody wanting my autograph and I'm going to charge that person for an autograph, no, it doesn't work like that with me, okay? Anybody wants my autographs, you get them for free. It's just stupid, it's just ridiculous, and I don't like that shit. I really don't. You know, I'm not a fan of that, no doubt. And in a way, it was good to see Noam Dar get the victory over him, thanks to James R. Kennedy costing Doug Williams the match. Doug Williams basically had him beat. He was going to go for the that rolling German suplex that he does, that move, and James R. Kennedy had other ideas. He goes to slap Noam Dar. Noam Dar ducks out the way, slaps Doug Williams. Noam Dar gets the roll up, gets the 1, 2, 3, and gets out with his life, and then gets in the face of Lionheart, and because Lionheart is also, who was at the commentary position, is also in that 6-way match as well. But Noam Dar, either way, got the victory. And then on to the main event of the show, which was the most talked about match if you listen to it over the internet, which was Joe Henry and Mr. Anderson, the ICW debut of one Kenneth Anderson, and you can say the infamous fuck TNA chant, and fuck TNA from him, because apparently he said he was done with TNA at that point, and then a couple of days later he came out in the dirt sheets that he got fired from TNA because of a drug test, he failed drug test, so we don't know I don't know the full story behind that. You know, when somebody comes in and says, oh, they're done with TNA, and then you find out the reason why that they're out of TNA because of drug testing, this, that, and the other, which is whatever. And Mr. Anderson came in. He had a good match with Joe Henry. I didn't like this match in particular with the way they used. I mean, I guess you could say Mr. Anderson was there to put over Joe Henry, but Mr. Anderson dominated the match, and then one mistake cost Mr. Anderson, and Joe Henry ends up getting the victory. Will these two meet again? I think so. But also going back to the incident with the proverbial oh yeah, fuck TNA thing. Apparently Mr. Anderson came out in the dirt sheet and said that was taken out of context. I don't think so. You know, fuck TNA, you're done with TNA, you don't work with them. Pretty much self-installed. Pretty much here and there, you know, you're done with TNA. But what the future holds for Mr. Anderson, we shall see, but I don't think he's done in ICW yet. You know, we have to wait and see on that prospect. But all in all, this episode of the Friday Night Fight Club was good. I liked it. I very much liked it indeed. And like I said, it all leads into Barrowmania, which takes place WrestleMania night, ladies and gentlemen, in the Barrowlands in Glasgow. So be sure to check that out, and it'll be up on the ICW on-demand service. Be sure to check that out as well. If you haven't signed up to ICW on demand, you are missing out. And yeah, I can't wait to see that. And apparently there's a few matches that have been made, and I might have to redo the card for the show because I've got the wrong card on. So I'm gonna have to redo some things on the predictions. On the prediction side of it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully I can get the full card out, you know, the full Barrowmania card to you, because I put a Barrowmania card in, and I'm just seeing it right now. There's been some changes to the card at Barrowmania. As we know it right now, it is a loser leaves, losing manager quits ICW match involving Polo Promotions and 55. So if 55 lose, not only will they lose the tag team titles, but they'll also lose James R. Kennedy. If Polo Promotions lose, Polo Promotions will lose the coach Tripp. NAK versus Stevie Boy and Wolfgang, that's going down. Mikey Whiplash 1-on-1 with Trent Severin, that will go down at Barrowmania 2. And like I said, Joe Coffey and Grado take on the Black Label with Flex Hunter, Black Label being Jack Jester and Red Lightning. So I'll sort that out this week, but it's like I said, the predictions will be up this week on the Wrestling Matters channel, so look out for that as well. And with that being said, guys, that is the end of this part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Join me after this for more of the Wrestling Matters podcast. So see you in a bit. Actually, it's an outro after the break, so be back for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, EC3.
I've been fighting all my life for the man I am inside. I believe the plan for me is plain to see. A man of steel, a fast machine, my pockets full of cash and bling. Greatness is my only destiny. Trouble, 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 trouble. of my life. I'm a skyscraper for the world to see. My pocket's full of ka-ching and bling. Greatness is my only destiny.
What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Ferrari in Las Vegas, and you're listening to the Swerve Talk Network featuring Max Wrestling, Sunday Sag, Offshoot Radio, and more at the Swerve Talk Network on Twitter for more information. Woohoo!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. The final part. I'm going to do a little outro here and do quick promotions. Next week on the podcast, I've got Chris Dutton coming on the show to talk Raw and anything else that's relevant in the world of professional wrestling as well. So that would be a show based around him. Also, next week, there will be a part 1 of my little chat with Michael Larkin as well. That starts next week as well. So part 1 will be next week. And also, guys, check out the family. That is Sunday Segway, Offshoot Radio, Max Wrestling, and Evan McCabe's podcast as well. Be sure to check them out on the Swerve Talk Network, just as well as you can check me out as well. And like I've always said, guys, check me out on SoundCloud, any other podcasting site that matters. I say that because I'm on Podbean, but I'm still working on that, unfortunately. And check me out on YouTube as well, AJW Wrestling Matters. And starting tomorrow, as well as this is going out, starting tomorrow, it is WrestleMania week on the Wrestling Matters channel. I have a Raw review, WrestleMania predictions as well, so be sure to look out for that. I've got a top 5 of my favourite WrestleManias this week as well, so be sure to look out for that as well. And plus, also, guys, WrestleMania time, early hours, midnight, turning into April 4th if you're in the UK as well. But the night of April 3rd, WrestleMania night, I will be doing a live stream on the AJW Wrestling Matters channel. Be sure to check it out. Come along, come sit, come and chat with me, come hang out with me, watch WrestleMania together, give your opinions, maybe I'll answer some questions, whatever, let's have some fun. Let's enjoy WrestleMania together, because that's what I'm going to be doing on the night. I will be enjoying WrestleMania. I don't give a flying fuck what I'm doing April 4th. So, and also check out Dallas as well. I've got a predictions for Dallas as well. I keep forgetting about NXT Dallas, man. I've got a predictions for Dallas as well coming up this week as well. Be sure to check that out as well. And yeah, until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Be sure also to check out, Mystery Island, the Mystery Island show, Mystery Island shop as well, our partners on there, OSW TV, the Raging Falcon. Also check everybody out, guys. All the information will be on the websites, thehanthonywalker.net and thehanthonywalker.wix.com/AW Matters. You know where it's at. You know it's the Wrestling Matters podcast. You know professional wrestling matters on this podcast and not sports entertainment. My name is Anthony Walker. You guys are awesome, and until next week, peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's 13-14.
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.
There's only one wrestling podcast that gives you honest, uncut opinions and the most unique trivia since WWE did The Weakest Link. And the only place you can hear the show-stealing podcast promo every single week.
Covering WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground. Max Wrestling Podcast is the place for you. Join myself, Evan Money McCabe, the Phoenix, and the Butcher. Sundays at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time with your host, Danny Dangerously, on VOC Nation and the Swerve Talk Network.
Go to maxwrestling.wix.com/maxwrestling or follow us at maxwrestlinguk for more details.
Give in to the madness.